you.
It'll take a couple of minutes.
It usually does.
Yeah. Probably 3 minutes. Yeah, at least. Oh, somebody's watching.
Somebody's watching.
Yeah.
You can see just a little better, I guess. Hopefully that's not going to get in color. Big fan of this press.
You aren't?
No.
How come? It's complicated.
It's not complicated. It just doesn't work real great. What's going on?
Oh, my sponsor commented.
Yeah, we're doing good. Trying to get this new press working. I'm not a big fan of it as we sit here.
I think
it works, but I wouldn't say it's great. There's some things that it needs to get going a little bit better. Once it's styled in, it might work okay. I'm doing good. How are you? Ammo. Let's that Lee up and running. It doesn't have a bullet feeder, which I'll be able to get one for it. There's some things here I don't like, for sure. I probably work them out as it gets broken. So we loaded 400 rounds on it just a little bit ago, just to kind of get a feeling for it. I quickly gave up on the prime system on it and the sizing, like I do on every press. I always end up going back to a single stage because it's more problems than it's worth. I'm hoping maybe they'll smooth out. I mean, everything wears in and breaks in. I think if it worked 100% right, it'd be a pretty sweet press. But I was reading some troubleshooting on it, and all the troubleshooting is just DIY stuff, so. Nope, you gotta spin it manually. Oh, it's the price of the press. There is, but they're not kicking out. That's one of the things I was talking about that we were having problems with. You added gun oil, what do you mean? You have the turret press though. So this is a progressive press, not a turret.
How much is it more about?
Cool.
It's actually really cool how it works.
So I gotta get the fix for the primer feed, work through that, and then I'll try sizing and priming again on the press. But I think it just, I don't know. I'm never happy with the way they do that. It causes more problems than it's worth. You get a lot of shit like that where primers don't fully seat or it misses the primer altogether. And that gets really, really old after a while. I gotta order the bullet feed die, then I'll have automatic bullet feeder. And they also I'll get the powder sensor die. So but it's working a little better than it did when I first took it out of the box. I put oil on the ram, of course, and I think in some of these other parts that slide, like the shell feeder and the primer, I'll use some graphite powder. Jaylee, what's going on? I am working at world domination. Bullet feeder would make it a lot faster. Oh, I know. I saw that he died today. Stifler, how are you doing? This is that press that Lee sent me. I set it up, trying it. It's got issues. It could get worked out. For instance, the auto prime tool on it isn't worth a shit. They hang up constantly and they don't feed the way they should. And of course you don't know it's not feeding primers until a cartridge kicks out and then you spilt powder all over. You can see way better now. It didn't come with the powder sensor die and it didn't come with the bullet feed die. So like always on a progressive die, I always end up doing the same thing. I deprime and size on a single stage press, then I prime them. Once you do that, you take that process out of the press. Most of them work pretty good. Making your own ammo better? Yes. Is it cheaper? No. Yeah, nothing's ever on time. It's all right. You don't have to pick up brass because there's plenty of brass whores out there that will. Brass goblins. Yeah. So when we pick up brass, you know, we won't pick out like rimfire and stuff. I have a couple 5-gallon buckets over here and one over there, all with brass. I tell my kids all the time, because I usually make them pick up the brass, that sooner or later we'll cash it in and they'll get some ice cream out of it. With a net. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm definitely not going to make my kids do that. Yeah, we tend to do that sometimes too. Not always. If it's windy and shit, even if I weight it down, they end up blowing around. Or the wind will get under the tarp and flip the brass up. So that's the thing, sometimes this gets off. Because it's got multiple stations, you don't really know for sure which one is off. It's definitely not Dylan smooth. It'd work for people. I don't know if it's something I'd recommend or not. I missed powder there. That's what I thought. Definitely needs a powder sensing die. It's like that one there. I thought I missed the powder on it, and I did. This will be ammo for my son for his TSO. I loaded about 450 rounds for my daughter, and we're going to do about the same for my son. That'll get him going anyway. My daughter still has a couple hundred rounds. I think that's about what Gage has too, is a couple hundred. So, Mike, how are you doing? 9mm. So what are we at? 16 minutes. So 16 minutes for 100 rounds. And I can factor in probably another 5 minutes for loading the tubes back up. So 20 minutes for 100 rounds, I guess, isn't too bad. They make a tray that goes on the top that'll automatically feed the brass, but that didn't come with it. Being this whole thing was donated, I'll pick a couple of them things up just to give this a fair shot, but a little too early to tell you if it's good or bad. Yeah, it's faster than a single stage. It's got its issues though. Tubes hold, I think it's about 120 casings at a time. I think after this gets used for a little while, it'll probably loosen up quite a bit. Mountain Man, how are you doing? So this is that press that Lee sent me. They're 6,000. There are some add-on things that it needs. It definitely needs a powder check die, and it needs the funnel, so you can just dump the brass in the top and it'll sort it out and orientate it. And then it needs the bullet feed die. Them couple things would help a lot. Making a rig so you can record while fishing. What kind of fish are you going fishing for? I know for bit machines are ready. Alright, Stifler, make your money, man. Don't ever put this ahead of your money. Bass mostly. Got a lot of them in a pond. NFA Fubba, how are you doing, man? How'd your day go? Orange Smoke? So Orange Smoke, this is that Lee 6000 they sent. Just like all progressive presses, the priming feature is dog shit. It's more hassle than it's worth. So again, just like I've always done, hand single stage press, size deprime, then hand prime them, and then run them through the progressive press. This doesn't have the automatic feeder for brass. It's got the tubes you fill, so I gotta buy the funnel, I guess, and the automatic bullet feeder doesn't have that either, so I guess that's another thing I gotta buy. I'm not opposed to buying them, being the press was free, but I'm not completely loving it either. I hope you do arrange today soon. D-Dog, it's got its issues. I'm hoping they smooth out. We have 450 rounds I loaded on it so far, so the automatic prime system sucks. It doesn't work very well at all. So after making about 10-20 shitty cartridges, I scratched that, went back to the single stage press, deprimed, sized, and then hand primed. So it's got its issues. I think they can be worked out. It needs the automatic bullet feed die, and it needs the funnel for the automatic brass feed. But in 16 minutes, so we'll call it roughly 25 minutes, I loaded 100 rounds. So it's not a snail's pace, but it's not smoking fast either. It took me about 10 minutes to load the tubes here, and it took me 16 minutes to run through them. There's actually about 120 pieces of brass, I guess. So 25 minutes, you get about 120 cartridges. And that's with me stopping and looking at the camera. And two, that's with just double feeding a cartridge like I did, so it's got issues. I wouldn't recommend it for a new reloader by any shot. It's definitely not something for a new reloader. There's a lot going on. When everything's working smooth, it works great. I'm hoping that the automatic primer will smooth up and start working. So I'm going to keep running it the way it is and let all that stuff kind of wear in a little bit. So maybe about that 1,000 round mark, I will try it again. If it doesn't work, then we'll do some DIYing on it. It is. They're just the plastic like I don't know, just clear plastic vinyl or whatever. It's super flimsy. Burnt yourself with a hot glue gun. That's fantastic. Yeah, so I tried already. One of the stuff that I saw people talking about was like on the holder for it, you put a piece of wire so when the press goes up and down, the auto feed auto prime feed will hit that and bounce it. And I don't know, it hasn't really helped. Now what it looks like it's doing is it doesn't look like the RAM for the auto prime is going back far enough to pick up primers. I'll run it for about 1,000 rounds and then I'll take another look at it and see if it doesn't start running better. So I don't know, sometimes things just need to wear. I can see like on the cartridge case feed that, you know, at 400 rounds I'm starting to see it shining up. So it's getting smoother. It's just not there yet. Could probably have a stiffer bench under it too. That would probably help some, but as I speak, I don't have a bench for it. But I'll probably end up just giving it to my oldest, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I do. I just use the Lee Auto Prime. When they work, it's awesome, and you start cranking out rounds, like, man, it's fucking going good. Awesome, and then you start seeing powder all over, or the press locks up. That's what happened to the Dillon. The press will lock up because the primer went in sideways or some bullshit. Even with still hand depriming and sizing and priming, it's still faster than a single stage by a significant amount. It's still faster than like a turret press. You add the bullet feeder and maybe the shell feeder, you know, it's a lot faster. So that's a good thing. But it's still not perfect. If a new shooter like D-Dog got into this, right, he wants to shoot 9mm and you set the press up for the same gun, it wouldn't be a bad setup to just have dedicated to either your gun or your particular load. It's takes a little bit more to set your powder and to get your case overall length set. Because you got to go through the stations. It's got little levers so you can flip them out, which is okay, but then it usually turns the whole press and you end up missing a charge or double charging. The system that Hornady uses for putting your dies in, a quick release die, them are dog shit too. I want to say good things about them, but I don't think it's great. I'll be honest, I would rather have just a standard screw your die in because then you set your die to length and you take them out, you screw them back in. There's no, you don't lock the dies in with this, you just screw them down with that O-ring in there. It kind of keeps them in place, but it could be better. It could definitely be better for sure. Yeah, they're not great. Pick the quantity. Suppose I should probably lock that down since I'm not moving it. So I think what I should buy, and my son keeps asking, is I think it's Lee, they have the automatic process and press. So you get tubes similar to this and an automatic feed, but you just pull the handle, feed it, and you can do your hand deprime or size. Maybe it's a little faster than a single stage where you manually feed it, but it's basically a single stage press. So these are them tubes. You see they're just, a soft, I don't even want to say they're plastic, they feel more like a vinyl. I guess in reality it works for now. How long it's going to work or the longevity of it, I have no idea. But I don't see that them aren't going to last 20 years. You might get a year on them and they're either going to get too soft and not stay up, or they're going to start cracking or something. I don't even think this is the right press for somebody that just wants to reload their pistol ammo. The only person I would see that even has any value is the guy who wants to go shoot a higher than normal amount of ammunition, but not 50, 60,000 rounds a year. The components seem to be well built. All right, Orange Smoke. I probably won't be on later. I'm going to finish these rounds up, and then I got some barrels to clean. Get ready for Steel Challenge this weekend. It's not a press either that you can just start really cranking them out. You just got to go at a nice kind of even speed. So where are we? 38 minutes. It's 240 rounds. So you're gonna do what, 500, 600, 700 rounds in an hour. Use our CBS hand deprimer. I have a Frankfurt Arsenal hand deprimer. Them work okay. Otherwise, I generally use a single stage press and size deprime, and then I'll use a hand primer. Throwing brass away. Try like this. I don't think this would be the right press for doing rifle rounds either. Might be. I'm sure people use it, but I don't think I'd want to. I'm not that impressed with it. I keep saying maybe with some time to break it in, maybe it'll get running smoother. Yeah. I think for somebody who's been reloading that doesn't want to spend the $2,800 on a Dillon and they want an automatic indexing, it's not bad. I mean, I'm banging on it a little bit. For what they cost, I guess it's not a bad press. I think it just needs rounds ran through it, cartridges, and it'll probably start smoothing up. It's smoother right now than it was on the first 10 rounds. It's definitely significantly faster than a single stage press by a long shot. You know, if you get 100 rounds out on a single stage press in an hour, I mean, you're cooking, right? And depending on what dies you're all using, I like to use a factory crimp die, a Lee die, to give that roll crimp. So that's, you're using, what, 4 dies for the process? 3 dies, I'm sorry. Because you'd still, on a single stage, you still gotta hand charge them, so it's time consuming. The Lee turret presses, be it the was it the 4 or the 6 station ones, they're okay. You don't have any of the automatic features, but you're a lot safer with that. You're not going to double charge a cartridge on a turret press. I actually, when I picked powdered for this today, I picked CFE. One, I want to get rid of CFE, but 2, it's bulky. So if I do get a double charge, I'm actually overfilling the case. So if you were using tight group or something, you could easily get a double charge and you wouldn't even know it. If you weren't paying attention, you know, not making clear motions. Or smooth motions, I guess. Missed the bullet in that one. That's interesting. So that must have vibrated loose enough that it just actually unseated itself. They give you this little bullshit plastic wrench too to tighten this shit down. I'm sure there's a solution to that. I haven't looked it up yet, but I guarantee there's somebody that makes a metal one. Because that's absolute dog shit too. Yep. No matter what press you have, you're never going to completely get away from a single stage press. Loaded 9mm on a Lee Precision 6000. They sent me the press, so I can't do a review on it yet. There's not enough time with it. But the only way to get time with something is to use it, so I'm definitely using it today. All right, get back. Back. Paul, I guess I didn't say hi, but hi, how are you doing? I did see your message. I was kind of responding. Sorry, I didn't say hi. J-Dog, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I appreciate that. So these are a new bullet to me. This will finish out 2000 that I've loaded, but it's a Barry's double plated 9mm bullet. I haven't spent enough time to really accuracy test them yet, so I can't really give an honest opinion on them yet either. But so far, from what I've seen, they shoot pretty decent. J-Dog, what are you up to today? Yeah, they're different. So being double plated, you can push them faster. You can actually push them to 1,500 feet per second instead of Barry's standard 1,250. So I could use them for major. I haven't yet. I don't know if I will or not. I do like to use plated bullets for my kids because then there's no exposed core. They're not sucking up any lead when they're shooting. The reason they have the hollow base is it makes the bullet longer. It makes it about the same length as a 124 because the hollow base of the bullet ends up being longer, which gives more contact with the rifle and it gives more surface to engage with rifling. In theory, they say that it increases accuracy, and then with a hollow base, which this part of it I don't believe, they say the hollow base will actually expand when it's fired, and it'll form a tighter seal in the rifling in the barrel, which will increase your velocity. So they make a couple claims. In the load I'm using today, I have some standard RMR bullets, same powder charge, same load, and we'll compare them here when it gets just a little nicer to see if the velocity is the same or if they're doing what they say they're going to. But you're at work again? Seems like you're always at work, man. Like so far, we shot these in the shadow systems. I didn't play with powder chargers or nothing. It was just a load out of the air, but they shot really well. In my son's TSO, they were at 25 yards. They were grouping about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit better. I mean, you were getting like a nice clover leaf. They probably would shoot even a little better than that, but we're using a 5 MOA dot. So at 25 yards, that's about the diameter of the bullet. So the little bit of variance there we're getting, I guess, is to be expected. So far, they seem like good bullets. I wouldn't mind trying these in 124. I ordered these because they were cheap and they were available. They were $160 for 2,000 shipped. So that's pretty cheap for bullets, so I got the 2,000. I was looking for 124s, and they weren't in stock anywhere that I was able to find. So these came from Midwest Shooter Supply. Which incidentally, them guys ship super fast. Yeah, I definitely want to try them more. Now, if the price goes up on them and they're the same price as RMR or something, maybe I'll try some for testing, but I don't know at this point if I would switch or not. That would be something I'd have to determine later. They load really nice. The weights are very consistent. They load easy. They go in the cartridge straight. But within the next 2 weeks or so, we'll be burnt through. My kids will, the 2,000 rounds. This will finish the 2,000 rounds. So they'll be through this batch of ammo. The machine is Lee Precision. So you can go right to their website. You don't really need a link for that. If you're looking for the bullets, it's just Midwest Shooter Supply. I don't have any links to give you. Watch out. think if I were going to buy this press, is they have a Lee, what is it, 7,000? I don't recall if they have an 8,000, but then they go to the 1,000. I think the 7,000 would be a better press. What, that one? Is that the one you're asking about? It's probably not what you think it is, though. Is that the first time you've seen it? You finished your Mosin. It came out looking like this. What did you're talking doing the stock? If you ever redo a stock on an old surplus gun, what I found works the best is two things. One, if it's summer out, you take just the butt stock out and you wrap it in paper grocery bags and then stick it on your dash or in the back window of a car and leave it there in midsummer for a couple weeks. Can't get the shellac the right color. The other thing that I always used for actually finishing the stocks is tung oil, not a shellac. It does a much better job and it looks a lot better. And it's still, you just rub it on. You rub a couple coats on and they always turned out well. So that's what I'm saying. When everything goes good, it works okay. Like right now, it's locked up somewhere, and I don't know exactly where. Actually, in the first die, it was locked up. The flaring die. Yeah, kind of depends on how far you want to go, I guess. You can also use, an oven cleaner, and that'll take off all the original shellac. But matching that, like that Russian orange, that's kind of hard. If I had a suggestion for you there, I'd definitely share it. Godfather, how are you doing? I'm not sure what you want me to teach you. So where are we? Just over an hour. That's 360 rounds. And that's with stopping and engaging. So it's an hour worth of work. It's not horrible, I guess. Prime some more of these and finish that bucket of bullets. This reminds me, getting the primer set up in the primer tray. It always reminds me of picking beaners out. What's going on, Rhodes? How are you doing? Rhodes, Lee Precision gave me this press to use, or to have and review. So I'm working on it, getting the first rounds loaded through it. It's got some issues to work through, so I'll try priming again later once things start getting smoother. But historically for me, yeah, it's got you set it, it's just a meter, and so a certain amount comes out by volume. You meter by volume and weigh by weight. But for instance, this is 5.7 grains of CFE with a 115 grain bullet. So I think max load is 5.8. It actually fluctuates about 5.6 to 5.7, which to make power factor I need to be there. For my daughter, I don't worry about making a power factor. For my son, I try to keep him compliant. No, 9mm for pistol matches. When we go shoot, the three of us go shoot, we'll burn anywhere from 600 rounds on up in a match. So 200, 225 rounds ish each, depending on what we're shooting. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but that's when I look at the calendar and I try to figure out how much ammo we need. That's about my calculation. I figure 250 rounds, and then that usually calculates out to about 50 to 75 rounds extra every match, and then that'll get turned into practice ammo. Rifle rounds are a lot more time consuming than pistol. Rifle rounds have to be sized. No, these are round nose. In my Checkmate, I prefer a flat tip in there because I can load it longer. Kind of the same concept of these hollow base. And they punch a little cleaner holes, but generally the best feed-in bullet is 9mm. Round nose, I'm sorry. So the wad cutter style, my Checkmate feeds them well, but a lot of guns don't. My son's gun will feed them well too. I haven't tried them yet in my daughter's, so I'm not sure. But like for my Checkmate, that's a bullet I use in there. It's flat nose. And I only use them because I can load it longer. When I load it longer, I can get more powder in the case. With the round nose projectile, I'm not trying to get any more powder in the case because they're not making major. They don't have to make major. So this brass was already all processed, it just wasn't primed. So I'll prime it. If the auto prime feature worked like it's supposed to, I wouldn't even be doing this. But I struggled with it for about 100 rounds and then gave up on it. Yeah, so my 9mm major, that's plus P plus plus. So again, that's why I load the flat nose bullet, because I can load it longer, which gives you more volume for powder. But this load with the CFE, it's knocking on the door plus P, but in order to make power factor with the 115, you gotta be running hot. So the press we're working with today is Elite Precision 6000. This was a donated press for a review. obviously I can't load 100 rounds with it and say this is what's good and this is what's bad. So we'll run it for a little while, break the press in, and then form an opinion. It's kind of what I'm doing today, is I'm just running the press. I needed ammo anyway, but we don't need it now. But being I have to do a review on it, meaning I have to use it, kind of says I have to use the press. There's some things that are okay about it, and then there's some shit that I'm not a big fan of. They have an automatic bullet feeder. I'll order that. And then they have a funnel that goes on top of the little cartridge tubes. No, it's mine. They gave it to me. So good or bad, I mean, I don't have anything vested in it. There you go, man. I don't need to say it, I guess. But I will. Check out everybody else's channels. All the mods in here have content. They're all content creators. I appreciate their support, and they appreciate mine and yours. So by all means, leave comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share. That's the best way to help people out, is just watch their videos. Put a like on it. Share it if you want. But definitely comment on them, even if it's just emoji smiley faces. It helps. It helps people's algorithms a lot. Yeah. They're a lot like PSA, right? They come in at a price point that helps people get into the hobby. Because don't fool yourself, reloading's a hobby. It's a sport all in itself. Some of their stuff is top notch. Some of it, like this press, it's the foundation is there. It's just going to take some tinkering, and that's when I started reading on these a little bit after they sent it. Kind of prepared for it, I guess. I'll be curious to see what does and doesn't work. We will be going down there in Wisconsin, so we'll be actually visiting them in a couple months here. We got some time scheduled with them, so I can go down there, give them my oral review, tell them what I had to do to fix the press, and maybe they'll listen, maybe they won't. But I'll be talking to the head of their marketing, so maybe it'll matter, maybe it won't. But even my Dillon press, I have problems with the auto prime feature on that. 99.9% of the time, any press I've ever had, if I wanted good reliable priming, this is how I had to do it. So historically speaking, that's exactly the route I take, is I deprime on a single stage and size, and then I'll hand prime everything and then run it through the presses after that. Rifle you have to, because you have to do all the case prep, unless you're using new brass. Hey Gage.
Yeah?
I'm glad you're home. You can work on some of the shit I've been telling you to get done. You only need 7 more subs. Well, hold on a second. We'll make my son come down here and we'll make him sub. You need 10 more? Orange Smoke, I'm already subbed to you on all my channels. Gregory, how are you? As soon as he walks down here, I'll make sure he's subscribed on his channel. Actually, I think he's got 2 channels. But if you guys haven't, too, he was in here a little earlier, but D-Dog Tactical, he's real close to getting his 1,000. So I think you guys are probably all subscribed to him. You coming? Finding times to do lives is hard. Fridays are usually a fail. I figure most people that are going to watch gun content are out taking care of responsibilities, getting paid, doing that type of stuff. I've tried a bunch of Friday lives and they usually don't do shit. Sometimes the weekend lives work pretty good. Sometimes they don't. If I'm showing guns, and you'll find this too, if you're showing guns this time of day, you'll get 1,000,001 kids, and they're almost all trolling, which is okay because they count for views, but that's too cool. I wish Winchester would just give me free ammo. I do too. I used to really like Winchester ammunition. Yeah, it takes time. John, how are you? Pull out your phone.
Okay.
You go to this live and go in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, Mountain Man is in there. If you would be so kind, you can subscribe to him from both your channels.
Yep.
Needed seven views. Hey John, since you're here, post Mountain Man's channel too.
Yep.
We'll pin that comment. We're gonna post a comment, John, and we'll if you haven't subscribed to the guy, if you would, I'd appreciate it. He needs 7 more subscribers to be able to start doing lives. So if we can get him there. Yeah. Like I said, I used to like their ammo. Their early 2000s to like maybe 2008. Their actual 5.56 Winchester ammunition. That was some of the best factory ammo I was ever buying. There you go. Can you pin that?
I don't think so.
Alright, I got it. So his channel name is pinned. He's also up here in the comments, so you'll be able to Why are you gonna cover your face? Honestly, when people cover their face, it doesn't make them secluded. It just makes it challenging to figure out who they are. But everybody's got kind of their own thing. So let's start with these bags. You know, it's nice to go all the way to Ripon with all your gear and then realize you can't set up a chronograph because you don't have a tape measure. So that's nice. Any idea where that is?
Over here now, it was over there because you need it. Takes out the parts.
Okay, so where does it go? John, how are you doing otherwise? Did I pin the wrong comment? I did. There you go. I got it pinned right. Sorry. Is John's comment still pinned? I think I still have his pinned. There you go. I was trying to pin it. Something's going on. I think I got John's message pinned twice or 3 times or something. Let's see what's going on. John, if for some reason I ended up blocking you out, I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I'm just trying to pin this comment. Fuck. John, are you still able to communicate here? Because I had to delete your message in order to pin that message. No, I didn't mean to put any comments about Minnesota brats. I understand, nobody wants to admit that their state, especially their state's brats, are, substandard. But we know you had Johnsonville brats, and when you stuck that sausage in your mouth the first time, like, oh, this is so good. All right, cool, John. I'm glad I didn't block you. Yeah, John, you can see my garage is filthy too, huh? But obviously, I tell people, I like more than just guns. And he kind of showed you another part of me there. Yeah, it's full. It looks worse than it really is because I ripped down like 90-80% of my shelving. I started putting up metal shelving. So almost all the shit that's out right now is stuff that was on shelving, but I started building shelving and it got cold and my pussy was cold, so I went in the house where it was warm and haven't been back out there. Yeah, Mountain Man, a lot of people, they don't want people knowing who they are. And I'll admit, I felt the same way. But then, if you're going to post content, people are going to figure out who you are. I appreciate it. I'll come back to with that comment. The whole goal of my channel is to get people into shooting sports, or at least go shooting more. So when people are connecting on my channel and they're subscribing to one another, and then I watch somebody's videos and I look through their comments, and they got all kinds of people that I've been seeing in mine. That's a good thing. That's my whole goal, is to get people to start shooting sports. Ammo Alchemist, he shot his first pistol match this last weekend, and he had the time of his life. And if it wasn't for D-Dog and myself pressuring him, we were pressuring him like it was our first date. He would have never went out and done it. And by him going out and shooting his first match, that will completely transform who he is as a person. Him going to the range and doing a couple mag dumps, them days are going to be over. He's going to be shooting a match and doing it that way. No, it's just going to be Harley and myself. Gage has to work, and my son's still working on his Camaro, getting it ready for that car show. So he's not shooting. He wants to. I start talking to him about it, and he gets all excited, and he's like, I got to do that car show. So I like it when the 3 of them come. because they'll sit and shit talk each other, and I find that hilarious. So Harley Quinn, no, my daughter's name is Harley Danielle. April, I'm on a live, so don't start bitching. Yeah, John, as a moderator, all you have to do is click down onto the name, get up there, boop, just click it, and then the screen will pop up, and you can go to channel. Maybe my son put that in there wrong. My favorite pistol? That really depends on what I'm doing with it. But like my most sentimental valued pistol I have would be my 1911, my Colt that I built. But depending on what I'm doing with the gun, kind of dictates what I like. For competition, I really like my CZ Checkmate. That's a really fun gun to play with. Yeah, so I own a lot of CZs and I talk about them. Mainly I like them because of the competitions we shoot. They're a great choice for that. But there's a lot of really great handguns out there. I don't think anybody will ever buy a CZ and not like the gun or be happy with it. Even their cheaper entry models like the P10 or whatever, they're good guns. They're bang for your buck. They're a good gun. Yeah. Well, one thing I'll tell people too, when you're first getting into guns, it is better to save a little bit more and buy something a little better. You'll usually end up buying less firearms. And that what that could mean is that could be you're saving for the nice 2011 or a nice CZ or something like that. Usually it's you're further ahead, spending a little bit more than you want. Yeah, my stuff goes up and down too, John. I woke up this morning, I looked at it, it was at 514, and 14,614, and I think right before I started the live, it was down to 14,604. But it does this all day long. Some of that is when I get people making stupid comments, and I block them, or I'll block them and then go to their channel and tell them they've been blocked. Then usually my subscribers will drop because of that. Anybody wants to come on a channel and talk shit, I have no time for them. I have no patience for it. Don't say something to somebody over the internet that you wouldn't have the balls to say to them in person. So when people want to say stupid shit, I block them. Move on. U.S. tripping people out there that short. 47, 3 more. Come on, guys. I don't know who's all here. Let's get Mountain Man up to a sub so he can do a live. Tripping people out with that short. No, I don't think that's what it was. That was actually some editing. So obviously you don't know, but that was 4 different videos that got edited and overlapped over each other to make that. That was what I was trying to do, is I was playing with different editing. Then I thought it kind of looked cool, so I posted it. That's the only reason I've been doing lives now too, is my shorts aren't doing shit, and they're not going to until I get away some time after this strike. I email YouTube about shit and they just completely blow me off. They mess up and make mistakes on my channel and they never even fix it or try to make it right. Whatever, I'm not going nowhere, so they can keep swinging their little 2-inch dick around. What am I doing? I'm loading ammunition. Yeah, Tiffany, if you would, help Mountain Man out. Help everybody out. Subscribe to Orange Smoke. Subscribe to Godfather. Subscribe to John's Arsenal. Subscribe to me. And if you're only going to pick a couple of them, definitely pick Mountain Man. Definitely pick Orange Smoke. Definitely pick John's Arsenal. And there's a bunch of other guys too that all deserve subscribes. You know, Ammo Alchemist, D-Dog Tactical. Not a sponsor. Sam Moore. I could sit here and try to think of all the names, but there's too many. There's a lot. Yeah, that's the Shadow 2 compact. Orange Smoke has you covered on that. What are you doing?
Right now, fixing the fan that this is sitting in. What I just did too is
Stop. Clean the shit up then. You fucking down. That's bullshit. I should have. Fucking doors were locked. Or the gate was.
for a while it wasn't.
Yeah, well. That's why you don't leave my fucking tools laying on the ground, huh?
It wasn't on the ground.
I don't care. You want to argue about it? I'll win. It's funny you catch them dad moments. Tell your kid to do something, they want to argue about it. I don't know how you guys are, but that doesn't work with me at all. Emax Tactical, I appreciate it, man. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel too. At Carson 243, he isn't here. That's another one. Man, there's so many. It seems more and more like there's a group of us that are all kind of sticking together. NFA Fuba, if you guys have never subscribed to him, check his channel out. He's pretty cool shit. Were you late to school today?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, man, share the footage. Where are you putting the bullets? No, I should punch you right in your fucking face, right? Really? Thinking's free, man. It really is. It costs nothing to think about what you're doing and process. But when you continually make the same mistakes over and over, that costs money, right?
Yeah.
So don't fuck it up. I shouldn't have even had to say that, should I?
Mm-hmm.
But evidently I do. You're pulling it apart, and all you're doing is you're wrecking the shit. Then why even bother, right? Is that your point?
No.
Then what? Then yeah, hopefully the NRA can come back around. Definitely bad management. You know, corruption is absolute. Anybody in a position of power, corruption will always follow. Unless you hold off on that for 10 minutes.
Okay.
You can pick up the bench, you can pick up the mess you got all over. There's a lot of things you can do. Patriot, how are you doing? You pull stuff apart. These all need to be pulled apart too. So I have that press that Lee gave us. I'm just working with it a little bit. It's gonna have some break-in time on it. There's some things I like, some things I don't like. How'd your guys' Easter go? Oh, I'll be honest. Like checkmate, I'm not super fast on a draw. I gotta be real careful to make sure I cleanly get that safety off. So if you actually wanted to have a draw, that wouldn't be the gun I would want to do it with. When I shoot my Glock, I can get that down to about 0.79, 0.82 pretty easily, consistently. But my Shadow, I go just a little slower because I got to get that safety off. If I don't get that safety off, I got to get up here and then break my grip, or I have to use my weak hand. So it's easy to miss, and I miss it a lot when I try to go fast. Put my tools away too. Kind of like I told you. You could have found that one out there as a spare wrench versus pulling one out of the set. Ten paces. Can't see it, Jacob. What would you guys think about my profile pic? Yeah, I can't see any profile pic. I don't think you're gonna find too many people on this channel that are playing video games. All right, Patriot, you have a good day, man. I'll see you later. Obviously, too, anybody in here, make sure you subscribe to Patriot Arms, too. Patriot, if you didn't, check out Mountain Man's channel. He's almost at his subs being able to do lives. And obviously, I guarantee you're probably subscribed to everybody else. No idea. Yeah, I knew what you meant. No idea. See, one was green, one was blue, one was orange, and one was purple, right? Xbox, yeah. Check out Mountain Man's channel. Trying to get him up to his numbers up so he can do a live. Guess I couldn't count. I thought there was 15 left and there was 12 left. But that's okay. Have them for next time. So, the time I've been live, a little over an hour, got about 500 rounds. That's with stopping and half paying attention. Yeah, he pisses me off a little bit. I mean, I've been butting heads the last couple of days. So, where are all my ammo boxes too?
More upstairs.
Are they all empty?
No,
What's in them?
I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head.
Well, you keep telling me we don't have any ammo loaded, but every time I ask for containers or ammunition containers, you tell me they're all empty. So are they empty or are they full?
There's ammo in them.
Huh?
There's ammo in them.
How much ammo?
I don't.
Are they empty or are they full?
They're not empty, but they're not full. But
Well, then let's figure it the fuck out, okay?
yeah.
Get the shit. Now the boxes we put ammunition in, right? this type of stuff. I've been asking for them. He told me they're all empty, and I have like 15 of them. So if they're all empty, they should all be down here in the loading area. So they're not, right? They just heard me. Are they empty or are they full? Well, there's a little bit of ammo. Dude, if there's only a couple rounds in a box, then put it in a magazine and we'll shoot it. Or put it in the other boxes and fill up the boxes. I don't even care if it's different loads, as long as it's for the guns, right? Can't mix major and minor. As long as them aren't being mixed, it doesn't matter. So, yeah. That's how kids are, man. You know, eventually the shit all clicks. And they turn from a kid into a person. But, you know, them teenage boys, 5 minutes from now, he'll be like a rocket scientist. He'll be completely on his game and ahead of the curve. And 5 minutes later, you swear to God, the motherfucker's on dope. You're just, it's like, come on, you know? It gets frustrating. It gets frustrating to have, and you guys know this, you got kids, right? It gets frustrating to have the same conversation over and over and over. And like, I'm not loading ammunition right now for me to go shoot. My ammo's all loaded. It's been loaded for a couple weeks. I'm loading ammunition for him to go and shoot. So be a part of the process. Help with it just a little bit, you know. If all it means to do is bring me the empty containers so I can fill them back up for you, then, I mean, come on, man, do it. You know. At 49. Well, Mountain Men, when the next few people pop in here, let's tell them to get on your channel. I could sit here and play with a bomb. Oh. Check this thing out. It's an artillery round. It's deactivated, so it's no longer explosive, right? It's hollow. But it was a proximity or an impact. So it's something that got picked up. I mean, you know where we'd pick it up, but you could do, there's a dial here that you would do with your distance, or you can turn it to proximity, to impact. It's kind of cool, right? Got the bands in it. Again, you know, completely deactivated. No, nothing explosive in it. It makes a great bookend. Yeah, it's definitely butter. What did John do? There you go. Well, we'll hang out until right on. Keith, you're his 50. I appreciate you, sir. So does he. If you want, man, everybody else that's in the channel here, please feel free to check out their channels and subscribe. If you like just normal people that are into firearms, this is the place to be. Nobody's trying to sell you anything. Nobody's trying to convince you. Nobody's blowing smoke up anybody's ass. Don't get me wrong, you pay me enough money and I'll tell anybody what they want to hear, but generally speaking, I'm not going to bullshit anybody for any reason. I'm not that person. So Mountain Man made 50, right on, man. Yeah, I finished. We loaded about 480 for my daughter and about 500 for my son. We're playing with the lead turret, not the lead turret, the lead progressive press, the 6000 that was sent to us. So I definitely can't give it any kind of review right now. So we'll give an honest review on it. We'll get some rounds through it, and then I can talk about it. there's some things about it right now that I don't like, and it looks like a lot of people have had similar issues. So we'll try some of the fixes that other people have done. We have a visit to Lee Precision here in a couple months, so while I'm down there talking to their media manager, maybe we can suggest some of these fixes that not only I'm going to have to do, but others have done. Maybe that'll mean something to them and they'll fix it. But I don't know. All I'm going to say is I didn't ask for it. They didn't contact me and say, hey, do you want to review it? They just said, hey, we need your address to send it. So I was on a live. I was using a old press I had, and I was bitching about it because it was worn out, and they sent a new press. So way cool. Chopping up the grain on powder. I remember. You might have been thinking of that varget we were loading, where we were cutting the, because it's an extruded powder. Sometimes you'll cut the grains. So ball powders aren't like that. Ball and flake powders aren't like that at all. They meter really consistently, and you don't have to cut grains. But the varget powder is an extruded pellet. Looks, I guess in a better way of saying it, it looks like a hard spaghetti noodle that gets chopped. So when you're metering it, sometimes it cuts one of them grains. Yeah, you probably have to do the 2-part verification in order to do lives. So with that, they're going to want a copy of your driver's license or passport photo. So I just got a press for 50 BMG. It's sitting in the corner, nothing set up for it yet. So that will be the biggest press. XS3 Pro. Reloading. You can reload, definitely can reload pistol rounds on a single stage. It's time consuming, but you can do it. If somebody wanted to get started and move past the single stage press, one of the Lee Lee turret presses, like the 400 or the 600, I think that's what, or 4 or 6, whatever they call it. They just the number of holes in the top, kind of like the 6000, but them would probably be a great step after a single stage press. Them are almost foolproof. You can't double charge them and stuff. It's a lot safer press. The progressive presses, there's a lot of things that can go wrong really quick. I mean, just while I'm sitting here, I had a couple I double feed because I'm talking. Then I had a couple that I wasn't paying attention. I didn't drop the bullet on, so I caught them, but
so this right here, these are the same loads. Not the same load.
it's all stuff for your sister. What primers then? Winchester? It's all stuff your sister could shoot.
That is what I was going to shoot for the state last year. And this is all the same load, all 3 of these.
These are all the same?
Yep. Them prices are in a larger box.
Alright.
Then there's
Where's your bucket of?
a bunch of other stuff up there.
Where's your container? Because this is the same load I loaded last time, 5.7.
Okay.
CFE. Go get me that.
Yeah.
The other thing I would tell somebody getting started and reloading to always get a case gauge. Did I miss old man? Oh, he is here. How are you doing, sir? How's your day going? Carbide dies are always the best way to go. They're better dies. Pay a little more, but it's worth it. I don't know, man. Don't lose any sleep on it. It's just lives. Yeah, old man, I'm glad to see you. Glad you stopped in. How'd your day go? But whenever you load ammo, always make sure you check your shit with the case gauge. So they make different styles. One style is, they call it a hundo. That's for pistol. But you put 100 cartridges in at a time, pick it up, and it's good. Otherwise, they have single ones that you check. But always check your ammunition after you load it to make sure it passes a case gauge. Your ammunition should drop in and drop out with little to no effort. It should sit flush. It shouldn't protrude from the bottom. If it passes a case gauge, it'll chamber in any gun. Case gauges are always on the tight side of SAMI specs. So that's important to check your ammunition. Being I loaded it for the kid, he can check it himself. But that's what I know. So I guess, gentlemen, I wasted enough of your time today. Yeah, old man, if you've never checked out John's Arsenal, check out his channel. He's got some really good stuff. Riley Defense, they're a lot like PSA, and if you ask me between the two of them, I'd probably tell you to go PSA before Riley, and I'm not a big fan of PSA. Roger, I appreciate it.
Case gauge.
Nope, I didn't check any of it.
Added it as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't say I didn't do nothing nice for you. It's funny, I gotta beg him to help, you know, but he has no problem loading his magazines and firing away, which is okay. Give me that case gauge. Bring cartridge here. So a case gauge is a SAMI spec on the tight side of things. Give me some brass too. There's some ammunition. And you check your ammunition afterwards. Sometimes cases will bulge or do some weird things. So you always check it with a case gauge. If it chambers or if it seats in a case gauge, it's not sticking up flush. If it's not sticking out the bottom, which is a case overall length, it'll feed in your firearms. So the simple step right here is the difference between having a good day at the range and having a really shitty match. And you know, you can ask Gage here. We've shortchanged it a few times, and most of the time when that happens, have you had a good match?
No.
No. So it doesn't take long.
Sorry, there's just in there.
It doesn't take long, but it's good insurance. On rifle rounds, sometimes too, when you seat the bullet, you'll push the neck back a little too far. Especially when you're using mixed brass, as it'll throw off your settings a little bit. Different neck thickness, and you may not actually see it, but when you go to chamber it in the gun, you'll lock your gun up. So it's a safety thing. I hope that makes sense, Keith. Just made some popcorn. That's all right. What's the weather like today? Up north there. Phone's keyboard is wonky. Yeah, mine is too. A lot of times it skips the N. I'll press the N, but it won't put it in there. Makes you look like you're dyslexic when you're trying to type. It's got to give people a headache. Rain in Pennsylvania. It's raining off and on here too. Melting today. Yeah. So every cartridge, they make a case gauge for, you know, and pistol cases especially, we use it because they'll get just what I was saying is the bases on them will bulge. When they start bulging, when a case stretches after it's fired, when a case is fired, every time it's fired it stretches. And the weakest part where it pulls the brass from is the base of the casing. So it'll pull the brass from down in this area, and as you reload that brass you'll trim it to length, and when that area of the cartridge gets thin it'll start to actually bulge out a little bit. On full length case sizing, it doesn't go past the rim of the case, it comes down to just a little above, and that incidentally is the area where they'll bulge. Yeah, I know bulge, it's awesome. So that's part of the purpose of a case gauge. It just keeps everything consistent, reliable, and repeatable. Oh fuck, there's another bullet right here. I will load that one. Must have dropped one out. There's one sitting on the bench. So. I'm out of sequence because I'm talking. Trying to seat a bullet in the charging station. Bye, Harley.
I was going to say goodbye, but I didn't have lotion on my ears.
What?
Bye.
Come here. What now?
I said I was going to come say goodbye, but I'm putting lotion on my ears.
Why? Do that to your brother.
Yeah.
So.
Text message that's coming up here. Bye.
You bastard. All good waking up. Alright. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I got other stuff I gotta do. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. I just figured I'd do this live while I was fighting with this press, seeing how it went. My initial opinion on it is kinda, I don't completely hate it, but I'm definitely not in love with it. It needs a little help. It definitely has a break-in period. So we're just short of 1,000 rounds on it today. I'll load another couple thousand before I form any opinion on it. But with that, gentlemen, I appreciate all of you. So you guys, I hope you guys all have a good night. And like always, you know, check out everybody else's channel. Support people's videos. Get in their shorts. Leave a comment, even if it's just a smiley face. All that stuff helps. It helps keep your channels going. It helps keep people motivated. I mean, nobody's making a job out of this. At least most of us, right? So it gives you incentive to keep trying to put content out, or even not putting content out, but just sharing your content with strangers, right? Sometimes you get to connect with really cool people. Sometimes you don't. But generally speaking, it's a positive experience. So with that, you know, check everybody's content out, give them some kind of response, smiley face, thumbs up, ask questions, subscribe to everybody, all them good things. And then they do the same thing for you. It's just kind of showing everybody support. So with that, I appreciate you guys sitting there and listening. And
right before we end off, I do actually have one that.
you got one that's bad?
Yep.
So there's one that's bad. You kind of see how it's sticking up above the top of the case. So that'll be exactly what I was talking about. The base of that brass is stretched. Now, could you look at that and say it's bad? I sure couldn't. I would miss it. There's nothing other than the fact it doesn't pass the case gauge. So that cartridge goes in the pull down box. So that's why we check them. That would have probably mostly chambered in a gun, but it would have jammed the gun up. You wouldn't have been able to cleanly, smoothly eject that round. That's one of them that you really have to fight on. For me, usually when I get them, I end up cutting my hand trying to get that slide open. So that's why we do it. So with that, hopefully you guys learned something. If not, I appreciate spending some time. I'll talk to you guys later. Good night.